Hello, how are you?
Nice to see.
Oh, it's very nice of you to see you this evening. Are you doing something exciting at school?
I would want to ask you some questions.
Ooh, are they difficult questions?
No.
Oh, right. What would you like me to answer? What questions would you like me to answer?
What was your favourite toy when you was a child?
I suppose one of my real favourite toys as a small child would be my little teddy bear, little Ted. He used to come with me a lot of times. Another toy that I did have that sounds silly that it's a toy, was just a long strip of ribbon. And this was when I lived in an old Devon cottage, and it was a great long strip of ribbon. And I could take this strip of ribbon and walk around, and I could then walk and run, but I could never catch up with the end of the tape. Would always, because as I was pulling it, it went follow me round.
Thank you. Who gave you your toy? Your parents, friends, or someone else?
Well, those two things would be from my little Ted was given to me by my parents, and I think the tape was something that my mother had left over from making curtains, because she'd be able to put this tape on the bottom of a curtain to keep it nice and firm and stop it fraying.
Thank you. What materials were your toy made of? Wood, metal, or something else?
Little Ted, he was made of cotton material, and his nose would be sewn in with wool, and his paws would be sewn in with another wool to make them look pretty feet, pretty face. And the tape was just a piece of plain linen tape, about so wide, 2 or 3 inches wide, and I used to get hours of fun chasing the end of that one. Never did catch it.
Thank you. What games did you play with your toy?
I suppose with any toy, particularly the little Ted, would go do make-believe tea parties, or take them out on a visit, because we lived in the country, so we could go off. Perhaps might pick some mushrooms together if the weather was right, or go and pick some flowers for my mother, and even take some flowers down the road to my grandmother, because she was alive then.
Thank you. Did you ever make your own toy? What did you use to make them?
I suppose the biggest toy that I made for myself was made up of old toys that had come to the end of their life. So I got one little tricycle, and to that one you just had to rock the handlebars backwards and forwards, and it had a mechanism that made the wheels go round. That was no use, but what I could do is use the framework of that. So it had a hole at the front, and then I had an old pushchair, and fixed a wooden box onto the frame of the pushchair, and another piece of wood so I could hook the little tricycle to it, and made myself a go-kart, and then I'd be able to use this go-kart and drive down the road. These days traffic is so busy it would be completely suicidal, but out in Devon That would be perhaps nearly 70 years ago. And then there's not much traffic, so I could use this and go down the road. I had one problem, didn't have any brakes. So what I had to do with the go-kart is that when I got to the sharp corner, I had to use what I could for braking, and I got shoes on my feet. After a year of playing with the go-kart, I ended up with holes in the heels of my shoes. So I used the heels on the brakes to slow me down. But had great fun. But it was hard work pushing it all the way back up the hill again when I'd run down, because it would only go on its own one way down the hill.
Thank you. Were there any toys that were popular when you were a child?
I suppose the toys that were popular would be board games, things like drafts, dominoes, Ludo. I think we came into getting Connect 4. Some people were more clever and they were able to play chess. And you have word games, Scrabble, all these games. Something that could be played with one or two other people in your own living room. And of course, there wasn't wall-to-wall television like there is now. I mean, one of the exciting things in having games in the sitting room was that we had the radio. And as a special treat, I was always allowed to stay up to listen to Journey into Space. And I thought that was exciting and frightening. There was no television in those days, but you could hear the story and you picture in your mind of travelling in the spacecraft and all the funny people things that you found. So lots of games and toys were to do with the home living room with somebody else. And sometimes if you wanted to, you could play with cards, games called solitaire, and with cards you can play a game that you have to put them all out and try and get the cards, red card on a black card, and on the right number.
Thank you. Was there any toys you had to save up money to buy?
Yeah, the one toy I would have to save up money to buy was for my train set. So I used to enjoy playing the electric trains. That's when I was a teenager. And one of the toys that I really wanted to get was a big electric Flying Scotsman. It's a super engine, but I never did manage to save up enough money for that one. But I could do little jobs and earn a few bit of pocket money from myself, from my parents, and then I could buy another coal wagon or another passenger coach or a bit more track for my train set. So it was a good idea to be able to earn pocket money with your parents and start saving, and then when you want to buy something, you've saved up the money, you can go into the shop and say, "There are, Mr. Shopkeeper, please can I have that railway truck?" "Yes, sir," and that would be 15 shillings. 75 pence in these days.
Thank you. Did you play with toys that were passed down from older siblings or parents?
Well, as I was an only child, I didn't get toys passed down because there weren't any other brothers or sisters to pass toys down. And not many people out in the country, so but there wasn't too much in the way of mixture of using other people's toys.
Did you have toys that you shared with your friends or siblings?
Well, I suppose that the thing that I did share most with toys, not exactly a toy, is I had rabbits, guinea pigs, cats, and if any friends came round we could play with the guinea pigs and rats and rabbits and the cat. And the rabbit and the cat, I could take them together and we'd nurse them on my lap, and then out in the garden the rabbit and the cat would run free, the rabbit would chase the cat would chase the rabbit. And it's amazing as a child that with these animals, the cat was there playing with the rabbit. I put the rabbit away in his hutch. The cat was then free to go in the field next door, and not too long after he'd come home with a rabbit, and they'd sit down and eat the rabbit. But he never ever thought of eating the rabbit at home, because the rabbit at home smelt of the family, and it was the cat's own smell as well. So animals were lovely things to have, to play with, keep you company, talk to, and if friends come you can share the animals with them.
Were there any toys? Were there any toys you wish to have but you never got?
I suppose the one that I wanted to have but I never got was the railway engine. But these days toys aren't as, well, those days rather, toys were less complicated. These days children want to have, Dad, Mum, I want a mobile phone. Mum, Dad, I want this. Mum, Dad, I want that. We didn't have mobile phones. We didn't have television. So